Good Saturday morning and welcome to another edition of the award-winning Outdoors with Larry Ray.
Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency.
Now, here's your host, Larry Ray.
All right, good Saturday morning. Wow, what a crazy weather we've been having around here. And glad to have you back on board this week on third Saturday on Outdoors with Larry Ray, which means that Frank Barton is one of our co-hosts. Good morning, Frank.
Good morning, Larry. Good morning, everyone.
I know Frank and the next guy's in the duck depression without duck season going on, but that's our good friend Bill Cooksey from Jackson, Tennessee. Good morning, Bill.
Good.
Oh, no.
Good morning, Larry. Good morning, everybody. And I'm actually kind of glad it's over, believe it or not.
Did you hear what Brad Carson is now doing, helping us this morning, was putting this thing together? Bill, he played Rocky Top for you. Is that nice? I mean,
Just felt right at home.
It did feel at home. I don't know about me and Frank, but that was okay. But hey, glad to have you guys. And Frank, I called in Bill on today's show. It's normally me and Frank solo, but we're going to talk a lot today about waterfowl. Kind of wrapping up the season in Tennessee and in Arkansas. So we're going to give us a little, we're going to talk to Luke Naylor of Arkansas, the Waterfowl Program Coordinator. And then we're going to check in later in the show in the final segment with Jamie Feddersen, TWRA Migratory Game Bird Program Coordinator and certified wildlife biologist. And there's a lot going on in the TWRA waterfowl world. There's possibilities, some changes in the duck blind drawings and how many days you can have and whatever it might be. Bill, I know you've heard of these things and you know there's a lot of opinions out there about that. So
I even have a few, Larry.
Yeah, I know, and I'm going to let you. I'm saving it for Jamie at the end for you. Okay, I'm saving it for Jamie, but we will note before we get rolling here. In today's show that they did postpone the meeting that they were going to have for the commission, the Fish and Wildlife Commission, about these proposals until the March meeting. And so we've got a little break in there to build up even more anxiety on that. But I know Frank loves to hear from Luke Naylor because Luke's going to tell us what it was like in Arkansas in duck season-wise. And Frank can already tell us, right, Frank? How was it for you?
I'll ask him about where the mallards were.
I knew he was going to say that. I knew you were going to say that, Frank, because there's some opinion that they never left Missouri. Now, and I don't know if Bill's got an opinion. I know Bill's got an opinion, but we're getting weather this past week. Would y'all like to have this weather during the regular season?
Love it.
Love it? How about you, Frank?
No, thank you.
So you liked it back in October and November when we had ducks, right?
Well, everything's frozen up.
Well, that's true, but we've broken ice before. Bill has.
I have a place that's pretty doggone good when the whole world freezes, so I love it.
Okay. Well, I know this has been I don't know. I've been around longer than you guys. You guys are young whippersnappers, but I don't remember this prolonged for a week. The weather we've had, and in fact, when we get into one of our guests today, we're going to have two of them. We're going to have the handler of the national championship bird dog, along with his owner, one of the owners, and I know they were glad that the bird dogs ended last Saturday. Saturday, and not having to go into this week like they would normally do. But when you only have 21 dogs to start with, and two of them get scratched, you end up with 19. You're through in a week, and the next week is frozen over. And get this, guys, we're also going to talk to the folks at Lindsay's Resort in Heber Springs, and it wasn't too many years ago, about 9 years ago. And I don't know if you guys remember when there was a snowfall in Heber Springs and the entire dock at Lindsay's Resort collapsed. All right? 9 years ago, the dock at Little Red River at the Lindsay's Resort caved in, and they had, if I'm not mistaken, over a foot of snow. Well, guess how much they got this week? A foot of snow again. So far everything's fine. But we're going to reminisce with the Lindsay folks over there talking about that day when the world ended. They thought when there was so much snow that it crushed the boat dock over there. And then, Bill, I don't know if you know Terry Elliott. Have ever heard of him since you got your place up at Kentucky Lake? But he's a guide on Kentucky Lake. I don't know if you probably saw that he recently caught and had it weighed, measuring a 3.48-pound crappie.
I heard a little about that.
That's
like
a big crappie,
more.
Bill. Now, that's a Bill crappie. That's a big one. That's almost a 2-pound crappie, just about, when it comes down to it. So
yeah,
have you ever caught one that big, Bill?
Not even close. I think a little over 2 pounds has probably been about it for me.
So what's a slab crappie to Bill Cooksey?
12 inches or better.
I think so too. Yeah, I think so too. And then Frank, of course, as we mentioned, there is some waterfowl still going on as far as the what they call the conservation series, where they're out there killing. They can't kill the speckle bellies, but it's hands on for all the other snow geese out there that they could go after. So some of that is on now, but I really like what Arkansas and Tennessee has done with not only the youth hunt, but they've added the military in that. You guys are both familiar with that. Arkansas started theirs, I think, last year. So that next weekend after the duck season ends, they allow the youth hunt, of course, and now they've added the military to that, which I think is a wonderful thing. But the weather situation is the talk of everybody, and the outdoors is the same way. I know, Bill, sauger fishing should be. This is sauger fishing weather. They ought to be going up and down the river, but
no thanks.
No thanks. Bill, come on now, Bill.
I'll get the duck line when it's in single digits, but I'm not getting in my boat fishing.
But you won't go down the river then, huh? Okay.
No, sir.
Well, Well, I've been down the river with Frank in his airboat, but not when it was 9 degrees or whatever it might have been, and the temperature is like I think we were colder a couple of days ago than it was in Moscow, and I don't mean Tennessee. So if we can handle those things. And in the days when Frank had to worry about ATVs and things along that line, he can at least get the tractors going, right, Frank?
That's right.
And get ready for what?
Get ready for
plowing and things like that in spring. Turkey hunting, those kind of things is what we want to do. But going to have a great show. Frank Barton, Bill Cooksey's the co-host. We're going to come right back after this first break here in a few minutes and talk to Luke Naylor. And we've had Luke on several times. I'm interested to what he says about the overall season because, as Frank said, the mallards weren't there. And, Frank, you can admit that. I don't know if you keep a ledger or anything, Frank. Was it one of the worst mallard seasons for you guys?
For me, it was, yes. For where we hunt, hands down. Worst. I can't remember a time when we had so many ducks but so few mallards.
Yeah, well,
it's not that we didn't have ducks. We had ducks, but we didn't have mallards.
I'll echo Frank.
Well, we're going to talk to Luke about that. Let's take our first break of the morning. Brad Carson is taking care of us, as only Brad can do. So let's take that first break. Come right back and talk to Luke Naylor over at the Arkansas Game and Fish on waterfowl. We'll be right back on Outdoors with Larry Ray.